what's up there, YouTube? So, once again, I was able to make it out to one of these screenings, and I got to see a movie called, hold on, I gotta read this, Martha Marcy May Marlene. And most of you probably have never heard of it, and to be honest, I have no idea when this comes out in theaters. I thought maybe it was this upcoming Friday. I also saw it came out in December, and I also read next year. So, whenever it comes out, I'm here to tell you the truth about it. Alright, so Martha Marcy May Marlene. That is, we'll go with, that's the main name, that's the name of our main character. And yeah, it's quite the title indeed, yeah. So, let me tell you a little bit about this pretty fascinating movie that I got to see. So, story is about this girl. She's played by Elizabeth Olsen. And this is her debut performance as Martha, and she knocked it out of the park, I gotta say. She did a great job, but, so it's about this girl, and she makes a choice to live on what looks like just a farm, but in reality, she joins a cult. And then, fast forward 2 years, she snapped. Like, you see her, it starts with her running away, and she calls someone, and she says, please come get me, you don't have that much time. And, you know, she's in this cult that's run by John Hawkes. I don't know if you remember who that is. It's an uncle in the movie Winter's Bone. So, good actor. It's a great guy. And, you know, when I say cult, at least when I think of cult, I think of guys in robes going, or like, you know, like crazy people with swastikas on their forehead, you know, or weird stuff like that never happened. But it's really like, no, seriously, this is what a cult would be. It's a group of like maybe a dozen people, and it's just weird, strict rules. Like, men and women eat separately. Women are separate from men when they sleep. Like, it's very, very, very dark in this way. Like, it brings up some thought, like some ideas that I'm sure are in real cults, and it makes them terrifying. But one thing this movie really does that makes it work is that it grounds itself in reality. This cult stuff is scary, you know, and it felt real because they do some pretty messed up stuff, and a lot of the believability comes from the performances. And John Hawkes, you know, and Elizabeth Olsen, just to name those two, because they are pretty much the main characters. Like, they're really incredible. Like, John Hawkes, whenever I see him, I'm like, that guy, like, redneck or like creepy, he's like the perfect actor. He has that look. The really cool thing though about this movie is messes with the old noodle. Like, it seamlessly blends in between her present state and flashbacks that from when she was living in the cult, and it interweaves it together to tell this story. And it's very unique, and I've never seen anything quite like it, and it can be disoriented and really does mess with you, and it will catch you off guard, and more than once you will be like, wow, so where is she, what's going on, oh wow, okay, you know, it's thanks a lot to the brilliant editing in this movie. I can tell you right now, I'm in an editing class, and although maybe my teacher is not very good, editing is very, very hard. It's very difficult. It looks like, yeah, cut this shot, it's way more than that. It's all about the pacing and the flow, and this does a great job with that. You know, telling an obscure story this way, it's a big challenge, but this director, Sean Durkin, he nails it. Editing, and, you know, along with some spectacular direction, and there were some really incredible transitions. Like, that's something that I've learned about, and transitions are really tricky, and they nailed it in this movie. There's shots where they'll be in somewhere, and it'll transition beautifully to be somewhere completely different. You know, it's well done. The technical side of this is brilliant. The more I think about this movie, the more I appreciate it and really liked it, but it isn't all gold, sadly. When the film gets to the end, it kind of just dropped the ball. And that's because, you know, when you see these things on screen, when you're telling a story on screen, the audience is expecting to have an ending. And when I say that the movie, like, it's not like I'm still there watching the movie, you know, it ended, but it's not an ending that I could explain to someone who, like, hasn't seen it yet, because there isn't really one. But after thinking about it, I realized there was a lot that I could assume that, I'm not sure that it could happen, but I want to assume, to get some sort of closure. Even people always say No Country for Old Men didn't have an ending. I completely disagree. I think the way that film started and the way it ended was amazing. I think that the way that they let the character go off, and you had closure for that story, and that's what's important. This, you don't get that same closure. You have to assume a lot of variables, and through expecting all those things through those variables, you have to think, well, there's this whole thing of hallucinating throughout the film, and how do I know if I'm even seeing this? And it's just like, oh boy, all these variables, and like, I really like this movie, but like, the ending is just, there isn't one. And the only thing I can really compare this to is the finale in Sopranos, which, even if you haven't seen the series, you can tell that it leaves it hanging, and, not in the kind of way that's leading towards sequel. That thing was just Tony or whatever the heck that guy's Italian name was. He said, "Hey, you having lunch at a diner?" Hey, talking, and then the camera fades. It's not the same thing in Marcy Quadruple M here, but, it's similar in the way, but the ending was bad. There you go. Overall, the movie was great, though. Like, there are so many really, really strong moments, and it's tough to watch at points, but it was really tastefully done. And I was fascinated the whole time watching this cult and learning about it, and it's above worth your time. This is a little more than worth your time, and it's pretty damn good. And although, the ending will leave you dry, I think the movie is juicy enough to be worth a full price ticket, so I'm gonna give this a rating of really damn good. Alright, so there are my thumbs up. Hey, and you there, you watching this? If you're still watching this and you don't comment, you're dumb. So please subscribe there, wherever it is, and write things down there, and tell me how much I suck. Tell me how dumb I am. Alright, see you on the flip side, peoples.